Knowing when it's time to leave your job can be challenging. After all, it's not like there's a giant neon sign that appears overhead when it's time to move on. However, some red flags indicate that it might be time for you to start looking for a new job. It is essential to recognize when it is time to leave because job dissatisfaction can lead to several negative consequences, including decreased productivity and increased absenteeism. It can also impact your physical and mental health. No job is worth sacrificing your well-being. So, it might be time to move on if you feel unhappy and unfulfilled at work. Here are 7 signs that it might be time to move on from your current position. 1. You're not respected or appreciated by your boss or colleagues. One of the most unmistakable signs that it might be time to leave your job is if you don't feel respected or appreciated by your boss or colleagues. If you find yourself constantly passed over for promotions or opportunities, or if you feel like your ideas and input are never valued, it might be time to start looking for a position elsewhere. Respect and appreciation are essential factors in any workplace. If you don't feel like you have either, it might be time for a change. 2. You're being micromanaged. If you're feeling unhappy at work, one of the reasons might be that you're being micromanaged. When you're constantly being watched and monitored, it can be challenging to feel like you can do your job effectively. In addition, micromanagement can lead to feelings of powerlessness and frustration. If you're experiencing micromanagement, it might be time to discuss it with your boss. Let them know that you feel like you're not able to do your job well because they're constantly monitoring you. Ask them for more independence and autonomy to do your job well. If they refuse to give you more freedom, it might be time to start looking for a new job. 3. You're constantly stressed and unhappy. Another sign that it might be time to leave your job is if you're constantly stressed and unhappy. Of course, there will always be days, or even weeks, when work is more stressful than usual. However, if you're generally miserable with your job and dread going to work each day, it might be time to start looking for something new. Stress and unhappiness can affect your physical and mental health, so if you're feeling burnt out, it's essential to do something about it. 4. You don't see any room for growth or improvement. It might be time to move on if you feel like you've hit a glass ceiling at your current job, or if you don't see any room for growth or improvement. It's important to feel like there are opportunities for you to grow professionally. If you don't see that happening at your current job, starting the job search process can help you find a position where you'll have the opportunity to learn and grow as a professional. 5. You're not paid what you're worth. Finally, one of the signs that it might be time to leave your job is if you aren't paid what you're worth. If you've asked for a raise or promotion and been denied or feel like you could be earning more elsewhere, starting the job search process can help ensure you're getting paid what you deserve. No one should stay in a position where they're undervalued or underpaid, so if that's the case for you, don't hesitate to look for something new. 6. You don't feel engaged anymore. When you love your job, it's easy to get lost in your work and lose track of time. But if you find yourself struggling to focus or disengaging from your projects, it could be a sign that something is off. Of course, feeling burned out is expected from time to time. But if you're chronically disengaged, it might be time for a change. 7. You don't have the resources to do your job well. You're overworked, underpaid, and not given the tools or support you need to do your job effectively. The lack of support and resources is causing frustration and stress, making it difficult for you to do your best work. If your company won't invest in you, then it's time to find an employer who will. Be careful not to burn bridges in your exit interview. When quitting a job, it is essential to be careful not to burn bridges. Although you may be ready to leave, you don't want to go on bad terms and damage relationships with your former coworkers or boss. On the other hand, staying in touch and maintaining those connections is worth it if you have a good relationship with them. In your exit interview, thank your boss and coworkers for the opportunity they gave you. Let them know that you appreciated the experience and that you hope to stay in touch. Finally, say goodbye with a positive attitude and express your hope that you will cross paths again in the future. If you do decide to give honest feedback about why you are quitting or what you didn't like about the job, be diplomatic. Avoid saying anything that could come back to bite you later on. Remember that these people could be potential references for future employment, so it is important to leave on good terms. By being careful not to burn bridges, you can ensure that your exit from a job is as smooth as possible. You never know when you might need to rely on those relationships again, so it is best to maintain them.